So for fixed costs, we have a lot. Then we have our energy bill. God, you guys, this one is painful. This one's for our AC. $828 on air conditioning is insane. I'll just say that. All right, you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jess. I am 30 years old and I live in beautiful sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. I am trying something new on my channel today, so definitely please do let me know in the comments if you like this type of video or if you really hate it and you don't want me to ever make a video like this again. And if you do like it, make sure you hit the thumbs up button or, you know, leave me a note in the comments so I know to make more videos like this. But considering a lot of my kind of like personal finance type of videos seem to be of interest to you guys and something that a lot of people want to know more about, I thought that I could maybe start incorporating these monthly budget with me, but also like what I actually spent in a given month, sharing that with you guys to kind of give you a realistic view of what a budget actually looks like, how to think about reverse budgeting, you know, how to divvy up your money for things like spending and fixed costs and things like that. So with that, first things first, if you watched my 7 money habits that changed my life video that I posted like a week ago now, one of the habits was actually reverse budgeting. And if you don't know what reverse budgeting is, basically reverse budgeting means paying yourself first. So doing the things like saving and investing your money into the things that therefore continue to like build your net worth and pay you, rather than like paying for your expenses, your fixed costs, as well as doing all of your spending and stuff. And then whatever's left over, putting that into savings or investments. Instead, we're flipping the script here and we're actually doing our savings and investings first. And then after you've done that, then you can pay your expenses and whatever's left over at the very end, that becomes your spending money. So with that, let's go ahead and look at my September, what I actually spent this month. First category is saving and investing because again, we're focusing on paying ourselves first. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. Considering I've been unemployed over the last like 9 months, Chris and I have really pulled back on our savings and investments. We were putting a lot of money into savings and investing when I was employed, and I'm so grateful that we did that because now coming out of unemployment, we have had a really nice safety net, both within our personal investment accounts as well as our emergency savings. So because finances have been super tight with us, we actually have not been putting any money into saving or investing basically since I got laid off. And that's something I'm not proud of at all. But as I was putting this together and looking at this, I'm looking at some of the things that Chris and I are spending money on, and there's definitely room for us to rearrange things, be a little bit more frugal in some areas, and really prioritize saving and investing again. So that being said, like I said, unfortunately, savings and investing for me in September was absolutely $0. We're gonna change that next month, so I'll talk about that at the end of this video. The next category that I wanna talk about is my fixed costs. So once you've divvied up your money to your savings and investings, then you have your fixed costs. And kind of a rule of thumb that I've seen with managing a budget for kind of like a rough starting point is that you should have about 50% of your income going towards your needs. So things like your housing, your food, just like bills and things like that. And then 20% towards savings, and the remaining 30% would be towards like fun things and spending and all of that. So just keep that in mind. These fixed costs and some of my other like essential payments are majority of where we're spending money. So for fixed costs, we have a lot. Okay, so first in fixed costs, we have the house mortgage, and we actually do overpay on this one to pay it down as much as we can. So it's almost $5,400. It's not actually $5,400, but this is how much we're actually paying on it every single month. We also have an HOA fee, which is about $100 a month. Internet, we're paying $94 a month. TV, we actually use YouTube TV, but that's about $100 a month. Our car payment, this one is really high. It's painful. Almost $1,200 a month on that one. I cannot wait for our car payment to be done. I'll just say that. Insurance is really high. It just went up this last month, which is super frustrating, almost like $100. So I actually think I am gonna call, see if I can get that fixed, but that's $371. My cell phone is $133 a month. And then we pay for a lawn and pool person. With the pool, like it started getting super hard to maintain. We thought we were gonna be able to manage it. And then summer came around and this was our first summer with the pool and it was a lot of work. We were struggling. So we hired someone and decided, you know, this is an expense that is worth it for us to pay. But that brings my grand total for my fixed costs up to $7,674.55. And yeah, that's really high. So next we have non-fixed and non-spending. So these are things that are variables every single month. They fluctuate either a lot or maybe just a little bit, but there are things that I have to pay for that I don't qualify as like spending, but they're also not the same exact dollar amount every single month. So these things we have gas, so our gas for like our heater. Obviously being summer still in warm weather here, it's pretty low, so only $24. Water is pretty high here, obviously, as you can imagine, during summer months. And actually in September we cut back a little bit on our water usage, so this one's actually a little bit better than it was in August, but $368. Then we have our energy bill. God, you guys, this one is painful. This one's for our AC. I wish that we had solar power, and it's definitely something I would consider, because $828 on air conditioning is insane. I'll just say that. Next we have trash. This one was like $56. And then lastly, I have the car gas that we put in the car. This one was a little bit lower this month, I think. We actually traveled quite a bit in September, so that's why this one might be a little bit lower. All right. Next category that I'm giving myself is food, and then I'm breaking this into grocery and eating out. And honestly, again, we traveled a lot in September. I mean, not a lot, but we were in Mexico at the beginning of September, so there were things from like going out in Cabo, and then also Chris had a bachelor party that he was at in September, so he spent a lot of money on those things as well, like just like going out to eat and whatnot. So I actually think our eating out budget will hopefully be a lot lower in the future. Grocery, like this is pretty on brand. This might be a little low because we were gone traveling, eating out and stuff, because I think normally our grocery budget is more like $1,200. So I'm just kind of curious like how it'll look next month. But $950 on grocery. Chris and I really do try to bulk buy groceries from Costco and then only go to Safeway or Albertsons or whatever for like specific products that like only Trader Joe's has, or produce. So we do try to be very smart about how we buy groceries. And then eating out, again, this is really high, but $918.54. It's pretty high. So that brings our total food budget for the month up to almost $1,900. We're at $1,869. And this is one where I think like we could shave this down to like $1,500 total for the month and allocate that extra like $300 into savings and investments for sure. All right, next category that I created for myself was pampering, and I just have this one in here because I do get my nails done every like 2.5 to 3 weeks, and Chris also does get a haircut every like same-ish time frame, like 3 or so weeks. So this is one that's like kind of one of those like almost fixed costs. We know that we have it every month, so you might as well just like schedule it into your budget. Obviously this is one that like I could cut out getting my nails done for sure. For me, like you gotta have a little bit of self-care, self-pampering and all of that. So for me, this one was fine staying in here. That brings our total for pampering and such up to $139.40. Okay, and the last category that I have is spending. So this is like after I've obviously put money into savings and investments, which I did not do, and then after I've paid for my fixed costs and groceries and food and stuff, then that's kind of where the rest of the budget should go, is to spending. Like whatever you have left over is what you can spend on. And the reason why I think it's really smart to reverse budget is because you can easily just spend the rest of your money, right? Like you can just be like, oh, I have $1,500 left in my bank account, like I might as well go buy a new pair of shoes, a new this or that or whatever, and then you're not actually like thinking long term and thinking about your financial goals. So with that being said, I feel like our spending was a little high this month, again with traveling and such, because if you look at Ubers and then I put like travel other, that right there is like over $400. So typically I would say Chris and I do not spend $200 a month on Ubers, but when we were in Mexico, we Ubered like from the hotel into downtown Cabo San Lucas, from the hotel to the airport. We also went to like Life is Beautiful. So we Ubered down there a couple times. And so basically just a lot more Ubers than normal. So that one is a little high. And then travel other, same thing. Like we spent money on extra baggage while we were traveling and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like normally if we're not traveling, like this would be non-existent. Okay, next I put in spending, I put dogs. That's just gonna be its own category for a while, if not forever, because there's things on here like buying dog food every once in a while, buying dog toys. But right now, especially having a puppy, we have a lot of vet appointments, also just happened to have her yearly this last month as well. So that's kind of why the dog budget is pretty high, $509. Okay, next big one, obviously Amazon. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I do a lot of shopping on Amazon, but I am pretty good. Like, I think when I was fully employed, I spent a lot more money on Amazon. I'll just leave it at that. $667.46. I think like the main thing to keep in mind here is like I order a lot of essential things on Amazon, so I'm kind of just like grouping this into spending, but a lot of times there's things like I buy my dry shampoo from Amazon. Also had my mom's birthday in September. I bought Shelby some gifts for her wedding, so there was just like a few different kind of like gifts this month that were wrapped in. It's kind of crazy because you feel like you're not spending that much money until you actually like go look at it. And then the last one I have for spending is just other shopping this month, and that was $161.40. And honestly, this one is, I would say, like on brand. Like, I feel like Chris and I really don't do very much like shopping outside of essential items, especially right now because we're, you know, trying to be frugal and stuff. But this one was primarily, I think, because I bought some like these pillows from Home Goods because I wanted to do a little bit of decorating for fall. So I only spent $161, and I feel like that's honestly pretty good. But that brings my total for other spending up to $1,754.74. So on all things necessary, all of my necessities, so my fixed costs, my non-fixed essentials, and then food, groceries specifically, not eating out, I spent almost on the dot $10,000.86. That's a lot of money. Also, keep in mind, I know I'm saying me, but this is me and Chris. This is for two people. Then for spending fun money, so eating out, hair, nails, and Amazon, dogs, and all of that, $2,812.68. Could be worse, you guys, could be worse. And of course, $0 on savings and investing. So now that we have talked about how much I actually spent last month, let's talk about just briefly how I'm gonna hopefully try and change this up for October. So obviously none of my fixed costs I'm gonna be able to change up. Those are gonna pretty much be exactly the same. I'll be curious to see if I like missed any this month. For October, I do expect some of our like primarily our water and energy bills to go down a little bit. Those should hopefully be a couple $100 less. So hopefully that will be a little bit lower. For eating out, I really wanna make our goal here, I think I'm gonna add in like a new column here or something for where I want my goals to be. And so I'm gonna try and make my eating out goal like half of what it was. So $450. I feel like this is super doable, but we'll see. And grocery, I'm gonna up that to $1,200 because like I said, I feel like normally our grocery bill is a little bit higher, but I mean, if we can keep it to like under $1,000, then that'll be great. Hair, nails, I'm gonna just keep those around like $100 each because if I get my nails done twice in a month, then it'll be more like $100. And spending, okay, Ubers, I'm trying to think if I've already used an Uber this month. I think I have, but let's keep that a little bit lower. Let's put that at like $50. We're not traveling anywhere this month, I don't think. So we're gonna put that at 0. Loki will have his 12-week shots in like 2 more weeks. So that's probably gonna be another like $200 on dogs. But you know what? They'll probably end up getting like a new dog bed or something. I'm gonna change it to $300. Amazon, I'm not gonna lie, like we're not gonna go crazy. We're not gonna slash this because this is where, like I said, I do a lot of my essential shopping as well as fun stuff. But a lot of the things I spend on Amazon are things we need. So I'm gonna change that to $500, and then other shopping, I'm gonna put at $200. Based on all of those numbers, now I should be able to figure out like what's realistic for me to put into savings. Okay, so like I said before, my entire spending for the month of September was $12,813.54. Actually, I'm not sure if I actually said that, but that's what it was. And based on kind of adjusting the budget a little bit and hopefully, you know, fewer travel expenses and such, our spending should be almost $1,000 lower this month in October, closer to $12,000 on the dot. So $11,950.27. That means I should have about $900 to play with for savings and investing. And I'm not gonna lie, that's a little bit lower than I would like to be putting in savings and investing considering how much we're spending. Ratio wise, that's pretty low, but it's better than nothing. And the most important thing is that you are taking the necessary steps to put your savings and investment accounts first, whether that's $50 or $500, you know what I mean? So we're gonna make the goal for October to put $450 in each. And that'll bring my total for October, if everything else stays pretty close, to being about $12,850 again. So yeah, that's pretty close to what I spent in September, and that includes putting money away. So that is a huge win. That pretty much wraps it up for what I spent in a month and budget with me. Let me know if you guys like this type of video, this style of video, if it helps you kind of think about your own budget and think about how to split things up. I thought, you know, since I've been talking about reverse budgeting, money habits and stuff, like actually showing you guys how I'm thinking about my budget could be helpful. So if you did enjoy this video and you want to see more what I spend in a month, budget with me type of videos, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, because like always, it just helps me know what videos you guys like to see from me. That is it. Happy October, and I will catch up with you guys next time.